everybody, it's Paige, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new NATASHA DENONA GLAM face palette. I just picked this up in store at Sephora today. This has been sold out online, but I actually just checked the Sephora website and it looks like it is currently in stock. This palette retails for $59. There are two shade variations. I have the light one, but there's also a dark one, so I will have both of them linked down below in the description box. If you guys are Sephora Rouge members, you can use your VIB Rouge code to get 20% off in store or online. So definitely check this palette out quickly if you plan on purchasing it, because I could definitely see this selling out again very soon. But like I said, it will be linked down below in the description box. But I'm so excited for this palette, you guys. So I saw this in store and I would have walked right past it because I actually thought that this was just the regular Glam palette, which I have to do some comparisons to see if we have any duplicate shades. But my boyfriend pointed out that this wasn't the Glam palette. This was the Glam face palette, which is what I was looking for. So thank goodness for him and his observancy. I don't know if observancy is a word, but thank goodness he was being observant and saw that the face palette was in stock. They had both shades, but I only ended up picking up the lighter one because I figured this one would work best for me. But yeah, I will have this link down below if you guys are new to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's go ahead and get started. So this palette is $59, but if you pick it up during the sale, you guys can get a discount. I got 20% off of mine since I am a VIB Rouge member. So I didn't know that this was coming out until like yesterday. I think I saw a picture of it or something and I was like, wow, like that looks fantastic. So I looked it up on the website and of course it was sold out, but for some magical way it restocked. So hopefully this is still in stock by the time you guys see this video. But here is the palette. This is a super reflective palette. It's honestly insane. I just filmed my first Sephora sale haul and I included this palette and I was like, this is literally like a mirror. Like, isn't that insane? But the packaging is super nice. I could definitely see fingerprints getting all over this and making a mess. But if you just give it a nice wipe down, it can stay nice and pristine and clean, and it's literally a mirror. Like, I could legit use this as a mirror. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, there's the outside of the packaging, and then you open up the palette and here is what you get on the inside. So we have two cream products that are underneath this plastic protector, and then it looks like we have 5 eyeshadows. I don't know what is new and what isn't, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up my Glam palette and do some comparisons. I will swatch this entire palette for you, and we'll just kind of go from there. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with the cheek products. Here we have the blush and the highlighter. This is called Cream Blush. This is called Star Glow. In the description of the palette, it says, featuring a brand new formula that uses Japanese technology to deliver an extreme glow. This palette is perfect for traveling and creating everyday looks on the go. So I'm not sure what is the new formula. It says extreme glow, so I would assume they're talking about the highlighter. I could be mistaken. The cream blush definitely has more of like a putty feel to it, so it's not like say like the Fenty cream blush. It's not, doesn't feel as wet as that one does. This one feels more like the bouncy blushes from Maybelline, if you guys remember those. It's kind of like a drier, puttier type texture. So that's what I got from this blush. The color is absolutely stunning. And then the highlighter is definitely a creamier texture. It's not the same as the blush at all. This definitely has just like a creamier texture. It almost feels like a cream to powder type product. It also doesn't feel overly wet, but it is a little bit slipperier than the blush. I would say the blush has a matte finish and the highlighter is obviously quite shiny. So I'm impressed by the swatches. Let's go ahead and try to apply the blush. I don't know how we're gonna do this, so let me try to find a brush that's gonna work. So I'm gonna try to go in with this F15. This is a clean brush. I just dipped into the palette here, so we're just gonna kind of swirl our brush in there. I kind of have to press, not like hard, but like I'm applying a good amount of pressure to get some product on the brush. So let's see how this transfers to the cheek. So I'm just gonna kind of go at it definitely is very pretty. Let me take a closer look. It applied so much easier than I thought it would. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the Huda Beauty bronzer, in that it feels like you have to really like dig your brush in there, but then when you apply it to your cheek, you're like, whoa, that was easy. That color is beautiful, perfect for winter, fall. I feel like this is gonna kind of make a mess though, because I'm already making a mess with the packaging, but this is applying extremely well over my powder. I set my entire face with powder, so it definitely applies well over powder, which I would have expected because it is that like drier cream blush kind of formula. I also think I'm seeing a little bit of a gold shimmer in there, so it's not completely matte. I would say the base of the blush is matte, but it has that really pretty golden shimmer, which kind of gives the skin a little extra sparkle. I think it's really pretty. I kind of went like super intense on the blush. I wasn't meaning to, but I will show you the palette. Like, it just looks really like messy already. I don't know if you'll be able to see like around the pan. It just kind of gets everywhere, but it looks beautiful on the cheeks. So I'm impressed with that blush so far. Let's go ahead and dip into the highlighter next. I'm taking another clean brush. This is the F17 from the Starry Nights collection from Blinged Brushes. You guys can use code Paige for 10% off. These brushes are absolutely insane. They are so freaking beautiful. Perfect holiday gift, Christmas gift, Thanksgiving gift, whatever kind of gift you want to give. This is absolutely perfect. And Bling Brushes actually also restocked their cups on the day that I'm filming this, so I don't know that these will still be in stock by the time this video goes up, but look at how beautiful. I'm obsessed. Talk about the most perfect Christmas gift in the entire world. I love it. So anyway, back to the palette. We are going to dip into the Star Glow shade, which actually picked up pretty easily on the brush, and we're just going to start by applying it. Oh my gosh. Do you see that? That's beautiful. I need to take this protector off the mirror so that I can use it. Ready? Ready? That wasn't really that satisfying. Anyway, this highlighter is so pretty. It's like super soft, so it blends into the skin really well. Doesn't exaggerate too much texture. That is so pretty. Compared to this side, absolutely stunning. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this to the rest of my face. I love the tone of this highlighter as well. Like, it's not too icy, not too chalky. It has a nice kind of like champagne undertone, so it works really well for my skin tone. So we're just gonna kind of highlight the rest of the face, and then we will zoom in and move on to the shadows in the palette. Okay, so here are the swatches of the eyeshadows. I gotta say, I am beyond impressed with these swatches, particularly the two shimmery shades. So from top to bottom, I just went in order. So we have Inner Corner, Transition, Crease, Outer Corner, and Smoke. So the names are just kind of like positional names, which I noticed in the Glam palette we also have that kind of naming going on. There are some duplicated names, but the shades are different. At least some of them are. So I thought I would go ahead and swatch. So these are the Glam face palette swatches. Here we have Inner Corner, but from the Glam, just like the eye palette. So I thought I would swatch it next to the other Inner Corner shade. It has a very similar look, but it's definitely a completely different color. The Glam face palette texture is so much more magical. It's stunning. It almost feels wet to the touch. I am obsessed with the way that this formula feels. It's also a little bit lighter, a little bit cooler toned than the Inner Corner shade from the Glam palette, so it definitely is different. The next one is called Transition, which is completely different from the Transition shade in the Glam eye palette. It's very cool toned and taupey versus this really pretty kind of like rosy pink brown color. So again, very, very different. Then we have Crease, which the crease shade in the Glam Eye Palette, we're gonna call that the regular, this one, this is the Glam Eye Palette, and then the other one is the Glam Face Palette, just to kind of remind you. So here is the crease shade, once again, extremely cool toned compared to the crease shade in the Glam Face Palette. I actually don't see one called Outer Corner in the Glam Eye Palette, and there's not any shade that looks similar to it, but we do have Smoke from the Glam Eye Palette, which this one actually looks pretty similar, but it's still not the same. The eye palette is definitely way more cool toned than the face palette. So here is a close-up of those shades. This row here across is the face palette. This row here across is the eye palette. So I don't know that there's any duplicated shades, which is actually pretty fantastic because now there's reason to have both. But all of the shades look absolutely stunning. So let's go ahead and do a fun little eye look with this palette. I cannot wait to use those shimmers. I wonder if that's the new formula, because I don't think I have any Natasha palettes that feel like this, and I have quite a few of them. So I guess we'll go ahead and try them out. So I just went ahead and primed my eyes with my MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly, and we are gonna try to use as many of these shades as possible. I'm gonna go ahead and close the plastic flap so that we don't get powder into our cream products. But we are gonna start with the transition shade, which is the lightest matte brown. This is that kind of like warm toned matte shade, and I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush. This one is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH30, and I'm just going to lightly tap into that shade. Something that I've noticed with Natasha Denona eyeshadows is that they usually, at least the mattes, usually come across quite a bit deeper on my eyes than I would expect them to. So I'm just gonna use a super tiny amount, and I'm gonna start by placing this in the crease. It's already looking beautiful. I love the color. It's blending out really well, and I'm barely tapping into that shade, and you can see the pigment payoff that we're getting, which is pretty incredible. So that first shade looks beautiful in the crease. It blended out very, very well. I am gonna kind of go back in and touch up blending at the end. But next we're gonna go into the shade Crease, which is a bit deeper, a bit more yellow undertone as opposed to this first shade, which had some like pinkiness to it. So I'm gonna go into Crease, and I'm just gonna use that same brush, and I'm gonna tap that in the outer corner of my eye, and then I'm also going to bring that in through the crease, but I'm gonna keep it a little bit lower than that first shade that we used, just to have like a nicer kind of gradient. But I do want to deepen up the eye look. Once again, I'm getting some nice payoff and barely tapping into that shade, and then blending and just kind of building it up as I go. I find that to be the easiest way to go about using Natasha Denona's eyeshadow formulas. So far so good. I'm liking the way that this is looking. I do have the tiniest bit of fallout from that matte shade, but it wipes away no problem. So just make sure you set your under eye / cheek area before going in with these shadows, or just do your eyeshadow first. Either way works. But so far it's looking good. I might end up deepening the outer corner more, but first we are gonna go into these shimmers. I'm gonna put this one on the center of the lid. This one is called Outer Corner. This is like the super shimmery formula. This is the deeper of the two. They feel the same, so I'm guessing these are the same, if not a very similar formula. So we're gonna start with the shade Outer Corner, and I'm going to apply that to the center of the lid. This looks insane. You kind of have to like almost like scoop it onto the brush or use your finger. Let's try the finger. I do have longer nails, so it's kind of hard to be precise when applying this with my finger, but we'll go ahead and give it a try. My eyelids look wet. Like, this looks like a cream shadow, but it's not. It's so beautiful. Definitely fallout happening right now, but it's worth it. So that is what the shade Outer Corner looks like. It's a really pretty kind of golden bronze shade. I love it so much. All right, let's go ahead and go to the other side. And then we're gonna use the lighter one on the inner portion of the lid just to kind of give a little extra pop. And then I might go into Smoke, which is this darker brown. This is the deepest brown in this palette. I might go into that to deepen up the crease or the outer corner just like a little bit more, just so we have a nice seamless blend. But so far, I am loving this palette. I'm just gonna take care of the fallout all at the end, but I'm gonna go back into this little flat brush and we're gonna go into Inner Corner, which is the lighter of the two shimmers, and we are gonna focus that right in here. I'm gonna kind of blend it into Outer Corner, but make sure that it has its own little moment there. This is so pretty. It definitely has a bit of a flakier, kind of like crumbly texture, so if you're using a brush, you most definitely will be getting fallout. It kind of reminds me of the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. I did a review on this recently, and I noticed that some of the shades, like these more like textured shades, like this one and this one, are just a little bit like chunkier. So they do tend to kind of crumble down on to the like under eye area, but it's not a problem because, like I said, they just kind of wipe away really easily. So I'm just kind of letting it happen instead of trying to prevent it. And then at the end, I'll just wipe it all away. So I do think I am gonna go into that darker shade Smoke, just like the tiniest bit, like literally a teeny tiny amount. And I'm gonna use that same brush that we were using in the beginning, like literally one small tap. And then I'm going to tap that in the outer corner and just blend that into everything. So the shimmer, the other mattes that we have there, just to create a seamless look. But this will just kind of intensify and complete the gradient from the inner to outer corner. So literally the tiniest tap is all you need. And this is like the perfect finishing touch. Now we're going to wipe away the fallouts with a clean brush. And then I think I'm gonna go in with Crease, which is the middle matte color, this one here. And I'm just gonna kind of smudge that on my lower lash line once I find a brush. So I'm just taking that and smudging it on the lower lash line just to kind of balance out the eyes a little bit. So here is with the shade smudged down here, and here is without. You can do either way. I just feel like it kind of completes like the smokier eye look when you kind of smudge one of the crease shades along the lower lash line and kind of connect it out here in the outer corner. I just think it makes it look a little bit more smoky if that's what you're going for. So now I'm just gonna take the highlighter shade and pop that on the inner corner and the brow bone. I'm just gonna use a little shader brush and pop that right there. Oh, that's perfect. I love using face highlighter on my eyes as well. Like whichever one I use on my face, I like to use it on my eyes just because I feel like it kind of gives a more cohesive look. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put some mascara on, and then I will be back for final thoughts. All right, you guys, so here's the finished look. I freaking love this palette. I expected to like this, but I didn't expect to love it as much as I do. I think this is fantastic. Like, I would highly recommend this palette. I loved every single product in this palette. I will say the packaging is absolutely like just covered in fingerprints, super dirty, but if you just take a little give it a little wipe, it definitely looks a lot better. I do like the packaging. This is unique to these palettes. I've never seen this before. She has never done this, and I really do enjoy the actual packaging on the palette. It feels nice. And then the inside definitely got a little bit messier because we do have that white kind of like background to the product, but I'm obsessed. I love the blush. I did not expect to love the blush this much. It's still very prominent on my cheeks. It didn't disappear, which a lot of blush tends to disappear. Nobody knows where it goes, but this one is very beautiful. Definitely still nice and pigmented. Same with that highlighter. I am obsessed with this highlighter formula right here. Fantastic. And then the eyes. This is like my perfect eyeshadow palette right here. Like, these 5 shades, I could wear this eye look for the rest of my life and be content. I think it's so beautiful. The shimmer formula in here is fantastic. I am obsessed with this shimmer formula. The mattes, I didn't expect anything less. I'm a huge fan of NATASHA Denona's eyeshadows. I love her mattes. Literally the tiniest bit goes a long way, so keep that in mind if you haven't used her shadows before. But this set of 5 shades is perfect. I wouldn't change anything about it. I think it is so beautiful. You can take this eye look, you can make it more intense. You could use one of the shimmer shades, you could go all matte. You could even probably use this blush on the eyes and that would be really pretty. But I just think this is a fantastic palette. It's perfect as like a travel palette, or just like kind of everything you need in one as far as like cheeks and eyes go. I am obsessed. Like, I really didn't expect to love this much because I have the Glam palette and I've had this for a few months and I haven't actually used it on my eyes yet. I'm not a super like cool toned eyeshadow person. I tend to gravitate towards more like warm tone neutrals or like rose golds, pinks, that kind of thing. So this isn't my typical go-to, so I was a little bit hesitant on the Glam face palette, but the shadows in here are actually quite warm toned, which is interesting to me. Like we saw with the swatches, there weren't really any duplicate shades, which I think is super exciting because, you know, it's just more new stuff for us, and I think this is fantastic. It has a really nice mirror as well. So yeah, I used this mirror quite a bit. It's huge. It's like the entire size of the palette essentially. So yeah, this is fantastic. I highly recommend this palette. I will have it linked down below. Fingers crossed it's still in stock by the time you guys see this. But this is so good. I can see myself using this non-stop during like the upcoming months. I think this is gonna be fantastic. So definitely check this out. Check out the other shade as well. I'm like kind of regretting not buying the other one. It was just so expensive and I wasn't thinking I was gonna love it this much. So I think I might have to place an order maybe for the darker Glam face palette. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you plan on picking this up or not. And that's about it. I love you all so much. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up. I have not been this excited about a review in so long. Well, besides the Rose Quartz palette, I was very excited about this review. But this like was pleasantly surprising because my expectations weren't like way high. But I was pleasantly surprised with this palette right here. So I love you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you in the next one. Bye.